Hello, and welcome to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
Welcome to day 64 of the Ninth Circle of Hell. I'll be your tour guide, the Lord Foo. I mean, I've got more alerts from fucking the AI lady. Hi. You have a weather warning for excessive heat from now until the end of time. Would you like to know about how I can help you order and decorate your house? Well, fucking bitch, it's hot. Oh my God. I got a river of sweat. Fucking.
Do you want to go rafting on that river of sweat?
Good God.
I'll sell you a
Fuck.
I'll sell you a raft.
We could backfill half these fucking reservoirs from the sweat.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's not more humid just from all the fucking sweating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The accumulative amount of sweat from the region alone should be rain shower time practically.
I could single-handedly backfill all of Placer County's aquifers
just with one armpit.
Yeah, just hey.
Yeah.
Jack and Jill in the fucking pail of water, just put the pail under my fucking arms.
Well,
cracking my ass.
What's disheartening, and I don't know if you've looked recently, is when you look at weather. When you look at the weather, and it tells you, here's our upcoming weather. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Today is supposed to be 99. Okay. Tomorrow, 104. Friday, 108. Saturday, 113.
Oh, shit.
Sunday, 111. Monday, 102. And then after that, it's just plebeian time under 100s.
Oh, wow.
You know? But that's where we're at. And then it's 99, 97, 97, 97. So, I mean, that's just child's play right there.
Yeah.
But we got a 113
and a 111
and a 111
over the weekend.
Of course, it's going to be on Saturday and Sunday.
Right, because
there's no water. You can't go to the lake. You'll be like splashing around in a hot mud puddle. You know what I mean?
Piper and her crew took a trip to the lake yesterday, the day before. And did the I don't know if you did. Hey, tell you what, before we get there, join the Sad Dads Club podcast in our Ninth Circle of Hell. I'm the Lord Foo.
And I'm Jim.
It's episode 146.
Yep.
Nailed it. Fuck it, let's call it a show. We got the number right.
Come swim in our sweat with us.
So they went to the Folsom Lake and they did the redneck slip and slide. You take a big old sheet of PVC, and buckets of water, and then you just.
You fish them out of the lake?
I would presume they just went and got buckets from the lake, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
And then they. It wasn't as slippery as they want, so the girls had to go and get
lube.
Dawn, yeah, pretty much, and then they did that.
Is that good for our water supply? The Dawn dish soap.
Fuck. It probably just evaporated before it even got offshore. Far as
Yeah.
We it brought up a story from when we had gone back to South Dakota for like a family reunion, decade plus back, where we had relatives, my family side, so my dad's side. Same thing, but it was, good God, it was probably 10 yards wide and 30 yards deep. It was a huge chunk of PVC sheet.
Yeah.
And anchoring it to my uncle lawn was cinder blocks. And so the running joke was so redneck that we're just doing it with cinder blocks holding this thing down. It was
that seems really safe.
How did no one hit the cinder blocks? Well, it was so wide, and if you did, Well, that's redneck.
It's like an airplane runway of wet slip and slide.
Yeah, it was
cinder blocks on the edges.
Yeah, it was like, well, danger zone. I mean, if you managed to get so far out of whack that you hit a fucking cinder block, you were probably the dumb cousin anyway, and you had it coming.
And also go into the ER.
Yeah, and ER, shit, they just feed you to the pigs. It'd be over. Anyway, it was fun.
Get rid of the body.
Right. And at the time, I think Piper was pod, so that was, 17-something years ago.
Yeah.
That's a good limiter. Anyway, yeah, it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hot. And I don't know about you, but I have spent this year, like, obsessed, certainly the last month and a half, 2 months, obsessed with, like, thermals. And, like, heating, like, the misters obviously add to that.
It's something I think about a lot, but I don't feel like I have a lot of control over that stuff.
The energy efficiency.
Yeah.
And, like, having to pay AC. Because it just seems like this year, I'm sure it's not the case. It's probably just perception bias. But it feels like this year, I'm more conscious about trying to manage the AC and finding ways to mitigate the bill if I can, or offload that to somewhere else to make to find a solution that I didn't realize was there.
Lucky you. You know what my problem is?
What?
Is that I've got a 24-year-old jerk living in my house.
Who
just decides to turn up the AC to whatever temperature he wants, which the last time we saw was 74.
Oh, boy.
So guess who's going to be helping out with the electrical bill?
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. So I had middle last week, because we've talked about the whole house or attic fans.
Yeah.
Of which I have a small, like, gable fan that sits above Piper's room that I've had for probably 5 years, and it has like a thermostat. So if it gets, I think it's 100 degrees, it kicks on,
right,
runs off 110. But it still gets balls hot up there, and there's nothing to really vacate the temperature of the attic itself. That entire
You're still
space.
drawing warm air in there,
right? So it's not really going anywhere, and but I was. In talking about the whole house fans and a real air-moving attic fan of some sort,
right?
I was like, well, how hot is it up there? So I bought middle last week. I bought like a 3-module, like, remote temperature thing. So I put one in the kitchen by the back door. I put one up in the attic, and I've got one in here.
Uh-huh.
Now, when we did the addition for the garage. Because the room that is my office was actually the third car garage, and then we drywalled everything in. The garage itself was like open, so open rafter, so it didn't have drywall,
right.
And we didn't have stucco. I don't think we had a vent in the garage anyway. But I think the air moved a little bit better. There was more circulation because there wasn't drywall. So when we had the addition, you want to backfill the aquifer?
I'm ready.
Yeah, just salt lick.
My sweat says I'm ready.
We had to encase the garage in fire safe drywall, so that sealed this as a box. Hadn't really given much thought about that. Because I'm inside the house
where the
air is, and outside of all the computers in the office that keep that room specifically a little bit hotter. I'm worried. I'm thinking, like, how do I circulate stuff in the house? So fast forward to all these. I'm putting all these modules. Fucking, it gets ridiculous. Why is it so hot in the garage? There's no vents.
Yeah, there's no airflow.
There's no airflow. Air doesn't move anywhere. I'm like, fuck. And to a point where it almost gets within 10 to 15 degrees as hot as the attic because it's just a box.
Right.
So the space above the garage itself is became an enclosed box that's actually its own space from the rest of the attic of the house. So there's a hot box above the garage.
Mm-hmm.
The garage itself is a hot box, and I thought that was a fly, but that was just sweat beating down my calf. So there's that. So I've got all of these hot spaces. Now it's like, well, fucking how do I... And I'm trying to think, well, how do I solve some of these problems? I'd prefer to not... I'd like to replace the gable fan above Piper's room with like a solar one that I can adjust the thermostat to, and then I pull something off 110. Like there are a couple of solutions of just moving air that weren't really available 5-10 years ago when I think I did that one. That man, if I could remove needing, the electricity, paying for something on the grid itself,
right?
Like, sweet. There's a checkbox I could pull that off of. And it gets really cool. I mean, it's almost polar opposites. It gets really cool between 1 a.m. and like 5 a.m. in the attic. Like, it drops lower in the attic than it does in the house. Like, fuck, if there was a way I could... But I wouldn't want to pull air from there. But so it's amazing to see how drastically hot it gets, but also how cold it gets in the attic.
Yeah.
And like, fuck, well... If I could leverage that somehow.
One of Shannon's parents' houses, the 2 houses back now, they actually had this like AC system, HVAC system, that was a regular HVAC system, but also it had this like smart vent thing that drew air from outside and pulled it into the house. So if the temperature outside got cool, you wouldn't have to run the AC. You could just run... It would like damper it off and draw air from, I don't know, under the eaves or something and pull that into the house. So now you're taking outside air that's filtered and blowing it into the house rather than pumping through the AC compressor, which is where your energy cost is at.
Right.
Which I thought was pretty cool. Now, the downside of that is like they get a lot of smells. Even though it's filtered, you get like skunk smell all of a sudden, or something like that. But from an efficiency standpoint, it does cool off really nice. So you can set the thermostat up to be like, when it gets this temperature outside, turn the AC off, turn the damper, and run this smart vent thing.
Right.
And then you cool the house with just the cool air from outside, which is pretty cool. But I'm sure that's a fairly expensive add-on to an existing system.
Yeah. I wouldn't even know necessarily, like, if you've got an existing one, like the complications involved in intercepting.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works. But
whole house attic fan.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for our AC to die so my home warranty will replace it.
Oh,
and I will get a more efficient one that way.
You can't even buy these anymore, sir. Exactly.
That's where you come in.
Yeah. See this insurance that I'm paying for?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We literally bought that setup for the AC because it's 25 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was out in the backyard, just yard work. It was not quite before the holiday. It's late last week after our last show. And I was doing something, and I heard neighbors, like AC, who's still running the stock unit, like just do the zing. I mean, it sounded like someone had thrown BBs into there, like the bearing sounded shot, and then it sounded like it was just like... And like, your AC's gonna... I mean, she's done everything else to the house, but hasn't touched well, that's a $10,000, $12,000, $15,000, thing. We had ours die some number of years ago now, and we had someone come out, and they looked at it, and he was like, "It's shot," kind of thing. And so then it was like
they send the sales guys in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we were gonna like replace it, which in hindsight wouldn't have been that bad, right?
Right.
But in the meantime, one of our friends who live in a next door neighborhood,
right,
was actually their shit did die, and so they were actually having somebody replace their system, and they were like, "You should have these guys come look at it. They're really good." So when they were almost, like getting done with the evening for them, one of the guys drove over because it's just right down the street.
Right.
And he came and looked at it and he goes, "Oh, this is, it works. You just need a capacitor pack." And he put a capacitor pack on it, it fired right up, and it's been running ever since. But
you were so close.
I feel like, I feel like the capacitor pack is probably like the Band-Aid for who knows when. And that was years ago. So it's like, let's get the home warranty thing, because we don't ever know when we click the AC on at the beginning of the season that shit's actually going to be working.
That's the last one.
Yeah. And I mean, I wouldn't complain if we had to replace it. I mean, it only cost me like $125. So let's do that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know what they replace it with. Who knows?
Better.
I don't think you get to choose. But I would assume because it's a new thing that it's instantly more efficient than what you had.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Probably, even if they gave you something that was moved the exact same like square
tonnage
footage
or whatever,
you would. There's no way it would be less efficient.
Right. It would be more efficient in the sense that it's new, and that it's new and it's got all whatever improvements it has.
Right. So it's like, congratulations, you replaced a 1,500 square foot unit with a 1,500 square foot unit, but this one does it using less power. There's no way you would not be saving
something
somewhere.
Yeah.
Would it create an Arctic fucking chill while you were on your couch? Maybe not, but you would probably be paying less as it tried to do it.
Well, I kind of wonder too, would they give you the opportunity to sink a little bit more money into it for the equipment? Right?
I don't know.
Okay, you're going to spend this much on a, I don't know what they are, 2-ton or 3-ton system or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't remember what ours is or what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to replace it with X ton system. Can we get like a half or another ton bigger?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like
If I just gave you the extra between this guy and that guy, what's that going to cost me? $600?
Yeah.
For the equipment? I'll do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'd be more than willing to get something that would be more efficient for our space.
Yeah. I would like to file a claim and be afforded an opportunity to upgrade on top of the claim, please.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if we've done anything. I don't think we've run into anything here at the house where we had an opportunity to say, hey, by the way, I think everything that we maybe would have had a complaint about or would have taken a dive, we had pretty much everything recycled when we did the add-on, the renovation.
So
like the water heater,
the
roof was pretty much looked over at some point, so we haven't had to redo the whole roof or anything like that. A lot of the appliances at the time were all overhauled. There's a sister panel, so
there's definitely limits on what things in the house are covered.
Our unit, AC unit was updated because we added square footage, so our pre-existing
system would have been too small.
Right, would have been too small, so that was already shit canned.
Yeah. I would love to have that opportunity, but she just keeps running. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel we're trying to manage, if Datas wasn't pressing his thumb on the scales of cooling, where do you guys try to keep it?
78.
Okay, yeah.
We're typically around 78. We had kept it a little cooler because, I don't know, for some reason his room gets warm. And we think it has to do with the fact that he's on the back. So he would be on the southwest corner
side.
Yeah. And so that back of the house is now getting that afternoon sun, and so his room tends to warm up.
Yeah.
And since we found the problem with the AC unit that we fixed ourselves, it's cooler, but it still gets fairly warm, especially if he's running an Xbox or watching movies or something like that.
Any number of his electronic doodads.
If those are in there heating up with him heavy breathing,
mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? It gets warm in there. So we've been keeping it a little bit lower than what we normally would,
mm-hmm.
which is probably going to kill us. And then on top of that, Chandler had the AC turned way down, and we didn't know.
It's, like I said, because of that, I've worked from home for so long, and I have the same thing. Like, I have so many electronics in the office that the office will run anywhere between 2 to 6 degrees hotter than the rest of the house. Like, I'll walk out of the office to go get water or to take a stand break,
and you're like,
and walk down the hallway and go, fuck, it's nice down here.
Yeah.
But I've been doing it for so long that I've adjusted. Like, I can stand 81.
Yeah.
Like, at 81 in like a sleeveless thing and shorts, like, my body goes, it's time. You've got to turn it down to 78.
You need a Mai Tai.
I need to goose it, and then
and a beach.
Right.
At 81.
It's like I'll go, okay, it's a bit much, because then I start sweating.
Yeah.
So then it's like, it's over. I'll set the thermostat. It'll push air through the office. It'll drop it to 78. Then I'll go and turn it off, and then I'll get another couple hours in this heat.
Yeah.
Probably less, but... And then once it hits 81, I'll goose it again, and usually that gets me through the day. And then once it's evening, if it's cooling down reasonably in the evening, then I try to... Is there an opportunity with the misters? Can I open up some windows?
Yeah.
Get a little circulation here through? Now, I will say that my office is the same. It faces has a western wall that takes direct sun.
Yeah.
Having the misters there does mitigate some of it, and it's allowed me to get further through the day noticeably. Does it remove the need to ever goose the thermostat? No.
Yeah.
But I can stretch it a little bit longer.
Right.
If I Bluetooth the valve, which has been awesome, by the way, to not have to like get up and then which is first world problems, not having to get up. So I can like the beehive and turn on the front misters. Full frontal. I've named them frontal and back door.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Awesome. Turn them on, get a couple degrees, goose the AC. It'll run.
Yeah.
It's a thing. I believe it.
Yeah, I mean our misters are around the patio, so they're gonna make a difference. But one of the things that I think would help for Chandler is if we had like a shade, or something that covered that back wall, like in his window, something that we could drop down. That would make a huge difference. The other thing I was considering was having a quote done on someone coming in and blowing some more insulation into the attic.
Yeah,
And then one of the things that an old coworker told me was it's like thin bubble wrap, but it doesn't actually have bubbles. It's just real thin, and it's got like a honeycomb with bubbles, and it's silver.
Okay.
And you can put that. You line your roof, the underside of your roof inside the attic.
Oh, like a reflective.
Yeah, and it reflects the heat away.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, you see a lot of people will use that on the garage doors.
Right.
Instead of the insulation. If your garage door doesn't have like the ability to take like the 1-inch foam insert.
Right.
A lot of people will line it with that stuff.
So he's someone who my old coworker, he's somebody that is into the energy side of things, so he's always like talking about how solar panels work and this much energy to build a car and this much energy, all this kind of thing.
Right.
And so he's really into that stuff, and we got to talking one day, and I was like, I would love to like figure out some sort of insulation barrier that you can put like in between the trusses in the attic. And he's like, oh yeah, that silver like thin layer stuff, you can roll it out and put it in between, and that will help redirect heat back away from the attic. And then I got up in my attic and I realized, oh, it's completely open in here.
Yeah.
And that, the cost would be for how many rolls would it be to go
from there to there?
There from the one side of the house to the other.
Okay, so then you carry the one and then multiply by pi and divide by the square root of my Balzac. That's a lot of material.
Yeah.
It's probably not cheap.
No, it's I don't remember. I remember pricing it like, a roll of that shit is like $85, and I was like, that'll probably do like 2, maybe 1.5 or 2 things. And then I would need that multiplied by whatever, I'm like, this would cost me a couple grand just to like outfit the back of the house.
Yeah.
And that's not even the front side. That's just the back.
I
don't know. It's just.
I looked again at I think we said this in Discord, but I had done a lot of deep diving on the whole house fans, like the square footage needed, because we've touched base with Dave a couple times on it.
Right.
The 2 different types, or he had, I think I was tossing out Quiet Cool, but then he Climate Tech, and there was another one that began with a T. Things that I hadn't really paid attention to, like the bafflings as the doors shut or the vents shut that are inside your house, because you don't want air heat soak coming back down from the attic,
right.
pushing. So you want the doors to close.
Yeah.
Some products insulate the vents themselves, so that way when they shut, it's just like blown insulation or like a styrene product that's on top. Others, it's just a vent, so you hope that they shut and don't allow current back through.
Right.
Fan blades, efficiencies of the motors, how balanced they are. While
do they shake? Do they make a bunch
of
noise?
What you can get away with and that was the thing. Like I had talked to Ian, and he's like, "Yeah, I did, it was like $300, and you could get those work. I promise you, those do something." But like when we did the remodel, and the guy who I think it was Sacramento. It was Sacramento something that did not only our gutters but the whole HVAC system, and like quoted us. He's like, "You want it oversized. You want it oversized. If it's right sized or even under, you're shorting yourself, because obviously things will lose efficiency over time." He's like, "I'm going to quote you a product that is oversized for a reason. It will be more because I'm over quoting you.
Yeah.
So if you go somewhere else to get another quote, understand that I'm doing this for a reason." He was really awesome, because he explained why he also did the concrete floors. Same outfit. And so as I'm looking at the whole house fans, attic fans, whatnot, and the price points go real fast from the 200 to 400 range, that would obviously move air in the house. They would be a capacitor pack solution to something where I would be like, if I'd had spent really, in order to get the square footage right or to be oversized, it's $1,000 to $1,600 for the square footage of our house.
So is that just for the unit or installation too?
It's just the unit.
Okay.
And really, the price points don't change the effort and labor involved in the product.
Right.
It's
still an installation.
It's still an installation. You're cutting probably a rectangle between rafters, and you're hanging a unit in your attic with strapping.
Yeah.
Running on 110 either way. The power requirement and the labor is all staying near the same box. It's the efficiency and the just flat out square footage power that you're paying for.
Right.
And that jumps between the 400, you get into like the 1600.
So what you're saying is you want a fan that if you accidentally turn it on and all the windows are closed, you're going to have to replace a window.
I mean,
it just sucked a window.
Or you get like the thing like in your car. We call it in our house. We call it brain suck. Like if you.
Oh yeah, where.
Yeah.
I hate that.
The ear throb.
Yeah. It's basically pressure.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at now in our county here in Northern California. There's a you have to hit a square footage limit. There's a floor. You have to have a certain amount. I think it's 1,500 square foot. So you have to meet. I butchered the square footage, I'm sure. But if you hit the limit,
what do you mean by
the minimum? Limit? If you hit the minimum square footage that your whole house fan hits, you get you qualify for 400 in a rebate.
Oh, nice.
So.
Note to self.
You won't hit the square footage of a $400 fan.
Yeah.
You need to you really be looking at the $1,000, $1,200. It'll bring you down to about $800. But you will have in most of the houses in our space. I mean, I think our house was 1,700 to 1,800 square feet before we had our addition, with the office from a garage to an office and the extended kitchen. I think we pressed ourselves to 22. We're looking at a whole house attic fan that can move that kind of stuff, roughly in the $1,200 to $1,400 price range.
Right.
We would qualify for the rebate. And that brings you down. I mean,
$1,000.
It's still nothing.
Yeah.
It's still a substantial chunk of change.
Sure.
But I feel like the way we are with the weather in the last couple of years, it's not getting better. It is getting worse.
Well, the way we operate at our house is when it gets cooler outside than it is in the house.
Shit gets open.
Oh yeah,
open it. Oh yeah,
fans go in the window.
Yeah,
all the windows get open, and the fan runs until it's like bedtime.
Right,
and then the house gets closed up.
Yeah,
but I mean, they would be 100 times more efficient to be able to open up select windows in the house. Chandler's room, it's warm.
Right. Flush that shit.
And maybe a front window and our bedroom window or Mellie's room or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Turn the whole house fan on and you literally would cool down in like 5, 10, 15 minutes.
Right. And even if not that, I mean, say it's 80 degrees outside. When it's, I think, I wish I had the thermostat on here because I could be quoting real numbers. But just before we started the show, so that was... I think the last time I looked at it was roughly about 5:30. It was 107 in the attic.
Yeah.
But
really, that seems low to me.
I had gotten up at 110, so it had started to drop already. I think we'd already hit the peak.
I'm expecting numbers like 130.
I saw it at 110, but I wasn't watching it. It may have gotten higher, but I saw it at least 110. But it was on its way down after 5.
You don't have an automatic graphing app for this? Because this is the science we need.
I mean, it was super cheap, fucker. Fucker.
You cheaped out on that?
I know. They had ones with apps and shit, and I really wanted that stuff because then I could have been like Dave and tracking all kinds of shit in a spreadsheet.
Cutting open your oil filters.
Yeah, fuck. I'm about there, too. Yeah. I'm thinking about it. Anyway, and it's 90s outside.
Yeah.
If I can remove 15 degrees, I'm not going to cool the house if it's 90 outside. I'm not going to cool the house to 80 by turning on the fan.
No.
But if I can mitigate the 110, 115 degree blanket on top and flush the entire house to an equilibrium of 90 and then turn my AC on, well, that makes everything a little bit easier and quicker ramp down to something that's tolerable.
I hadn't thought about that, but it seems backwards because if you're bringing if your house is set at 78, okay,
yeah,
and then you decide to turn on your whole house fan and warm it to 90. Now your air's got to like really work to replace the 90 back down to some comfortable temperature.
But is that a quicker struggle than if it was 110 to 120 sitting on top as it tries to cycle stuff through the entire house?
That I don't know.
See, I don't know either.
Yeah.
But for science,
well,
right? It can,
you have a Nest, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have the Ecobee, and the Ecobee just added a feature, which is like some feature that allows you to sign up for something that they partner with the local electrical power people. And I'm like, oh, cool. This sounds really cool because if it helps me save some money on my bill.
Right. Why not?
Yeah. So I'm like all about that, right? I mean, that's part of the reason why I got the Ecobee in the first place.
Right.
And then I go to like digging through the thing, like going through the setup, and it's like, here's your power company, PG&E. No, I don't have PG&E.
Yeah, no.
I don't. What the fuck? Doesn't show mine.
Oh.
Doesn't show Roseville Electric on it.
Congratulations, you PG&E customer. We're going to cut your power. Wait, no.
Yeah.
No, that's their problem.
Not even fucking possible.
No. Listen, buddy. We have real power company.
I like email. I'm like, are you fucking with me?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell, dude? Oh, well, that just means we don't have a. I'm like, well, they're called Roseville Electric.
Yeah. If you fuckers start cutting my power because you get brownouts, no, wrong.
God damn. Well, okay. So speaking of that,
okay,
did you hear about?
Brownout?
Well, no. What happened in Texas is that a bunch of people signed up for a similar thing.
Okay.
And what that sign up was that people didn't read the small fine print was that gave
shocker in
somebody else the ability to turn off their thermostat remotely.
Oh boy.
And people were like,
what could possibly go wrong there?
Yeah, people were like, what the fuck? It's hot as shit and my AC's just not on.
Uh-huh.
And because it got turned off by whoever it was they signed up for this shit for.
Like a municipality to like manage it, or like random dude?
No, I don't remember.
In Oklahoma gets to fuck with their admin.
I don't remember who it was. Some like power authority thing in Texas is all fucked up with their power grid and all that shit. But it had to do with and it had to do with like like conserving energy at peak times and that kind of stuff. And what they found was that they would just go in and turn down the air, turn the air off remotely on everybody's like smart things.
Right.
Because they had signed up for this thing.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And,
by the way, this is what will happen.
I presume it's sort of like hey, if you sign up for this, you'll get a discount or something. But that discount came with you probably didn't read the fine print and know that they were going to turn your shit off.
During an energy conservation crisis, congratulations, you signed up to be one of the people to volunteer to have your shit canned.
Yeah. Now you get to hang out in front of the fridge with the door open.
How do I opt out of this? Ooh, yeah, it's a 1-year contract if you'd like to terminate.
I don't remember if they were able to get out of it easily or if they had a like term like that. I don't remember.
I'd be all for a recommendation, but if fuckers
someone's remotely
be like, nah.
How does that even work? I mean, would you have to supply your user ID and password for your?
Well, if it was like a cloud thing, I'm sure that like you
think there's a back door?
Yeah, your device becomes actionable as long as it's available through like an Internet of Things.
God damn, dude.
Hi, congratulations. Well, push notification to your fucking Ecobee, and all of a sudden you're running it.
Hey, we noticed you're driving a whole lot.
Yeah.
So we're gonna remotely turn off your car while you're on the highway.
Hey, Jim.
I mean, what?
You're still sleeping, so we turned your air off.
No, I mean, like, think
Fuck
about
you.
that.
What do you?
Like, you signed up for this gas conservation thing. So we noticed you were driving a lot, and there's a lot of other people using gas and driving a lot. So we just turned your car off remotely.
We've been taking
You happen to be on the highway? Sorry.
Coast.
Yeah. Coast as long as possible. Pretend you got an electric vehicle.
Yeah. Good to go.
Yeah. I mean, what?
No.
That just seems redonkulous.
No way. So it was hot over the weekend. Happy July 4th, Independence Day.
Did you have a good 4th? You did your stuff.
I did jack shit. I mean, I felt a little bit. We mailed it in.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't do fire. I mean, we're dry as a bone out here. We just kind of mailed it in. Piper went to Nick's and had a party over there. Like, his family hosted a thing. Obviously the dogs and fireworks don't mix well. I don't know how your little guy...
Max actually, I mean, he handled it really well.
Good on him.
It totally surprised me.
We had ass hats to the south, ass hats to the east, west. The compass rose was emblazoned with ass hats. Like
and you mean ass hats by people sending up the big mortar.
Big ones that don't belong here. Listen,
we had them all over.
I enjoy good fun, but this drought, it's dry as a bone.
It's illegal as shit.
We are surrounded by nature preserves that haven't had the goats out here yet.
Yeah.
It is flammable all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
Dogs aside, it is flammable all over the place.
Hey, you got misters, though.
I do.
You can just be like, psh.
I didn't have to deal with a lot of the gunpowder smell because I felt like the misters were knocking down the shit in the air.
Yeah.
But people launching the mortars,
Jax
and Shiny were both like, it seemed like this year it was maybe because a couple of the neighbors felt like it was closer than it had been years prior. So we just kind of, I went and got obviously I didn't have a flag. So I did my patriot citizenry and put up a flag. Obviously I'm proud to be an American.
But we put up a socialist flag or anything?
No Gadsden flags,
That's
Blue Lives Matter flags. I put up an American flag because I'm a fucking American. And that's it.
We had the in-laws and the brother-in-law over, and I smoked ribs and salmon and Impossible burgers for the girls.
Yeah.
It all came out really good. I was really happy with it. We had a feast. We had way more food than anyone should ever have in their house.
Yeah.
And then we did some fireworks and had some dessert.
What'd you have for dessert?
We went to Aikida's and got a couple of pies.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pie.
Yeah. They got good pies.
Venus did, she made like a angel food cake. Some like Rayleigh strawberries. We had strawberry cake.
So is that where you put sugar on them and put them in the fridge and they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, real simple.
Strawberry shortcake.
Yeah, stupid simple.
Yeah.
Light, fluffy.
I mean, I don't want to make pie in my oven.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like we just went up to Aikida's and had dinner and then shopped for pies.
8 pies.
Yeah.
Some pies.
Couple pies.
Apple pies?
Apple pie and a peach cobbler pie.
Ooh.
It was very good.
Yeah.
And then we were going to get a key lime pie, but they didn't have any, so we found they just had a few slices left.
Ooh.
We bought a couple.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Key lime pie, very tasty. I highly recommend it.
Really?
Yes. Very good.
Maybe we'll go up there.
But we had a good 4th. It was fun.
I got to...
It was a lot of work.
Because it was 3D weekend.
Yeah.
Except, well, no, I work Saturday. But, so we had Monday off. I got to Monday, and I printed something out, because I'll read it in a bit. But I got to Monday, and I left my alarm on, but I didn't get up and stay up at that time. I think I slept in 7-ish.
Slacker, dude.
And I got up, breakfast, fed the dogs, kind of wandered around a bit, and I figured I would be productive. But then I got to, I don't know, somewhere about 9 or 10, and I kind of went, "Why is the day off? I'm gonna fucking do nothing.
I don't want to do anything.
I'm gonna log in. I'm gonna shoot aliens in the face."
Yeah.
And I got to somewhere about 11:30, about lunchtime, and I don't know what it was, but I started to feel guilty about not being productive, because it was like rattling around in my head that it was like, how many times do I sit here in front of this mic and I complain, or I'm frustrated that I don't have enough time?
Yeah, but sometimes you got to take the time for yourself.
That's the thing. That was where the struggle was.
Yeah.
It was like, if Venus she was sitting behind me and she was reading something on her Kindle. She was reading, and if she'd have been actually, she may, when she listens to this, we'll see what happens. But I had been shooting aliens in the face, playing video games.
Right.
And then this thought kept tumbling around in my head, and I started to get frustrated. Like, I can't complain about not having time and yet spend the free time that I have doing absolutely nothing. Like, I'm like almost like feeding myself my own complaints.
But what is the thing that you felt like you should be doing?
That's just it. I didn't necessarily have anything specific, but if you were to, and that's what ended up happening. So I got up out of my chair and I kind of just wandered around a minute and like looked at my workbench.
Listlessly walked around.
Yeah. I looked at my craft bench and I went, I have a laser, not Prime Day, but a month or 2 months back or so, I got like an Amazon notification about a laser engraver laser CNC thing that was, I think it was $75 off its price. So I bought it because when am I ever going to see that again? Well, probably in 6 months. But at the time, it was $75 off, and I went,
order.
Yeah. I get that. So I had that to put together. The blitz to the party, I had a bunch of stuff staged in a bunch of places because there were like little projects and things that I just shuffled off. Like, I'll get to that when we get past that. So I had a bunch of things. I had a bunch of my own little piles that I needed to address. But I was like, it's Monday and I've got a day off. So and then I'm like, fuck. But why shouldn't I take an opportunity to take a break? So I sat back down.
You worked on Saturday.
Absolutely. Yeah. Exactly. So then I'm like, no, fucker, I want to take a break. So I sat back down. I shot more aliens in the face. And then the thought kept tumbling back around.
Oh, no.
You really, I mean, you've been shooting aliens in the face for like an hour and a half.
What are you doing
Like, how much of a break do you really need, Dad? And I went, so I got up, went to the kitchen to like mull it over.
Yeah.
Came back. Oh, it's my day off. I'm gonna sat back down, shot aliens in the face for like 20 minutes, and then I got up like, well, I gotta eat lunch anyway, so I'll lunch. Ate lunch, and then I realized it was like a serious fucking struggle to like juggle there are things that I know have to get done, and I'm just kicking the can, but yet why do I feel guilty about just taking a breather?
I had that same thing happen.
It was like, what is it? Why is it this
on
way?
Monday?
Yeah, did you?
I'm not joking.
So it's not me.
I kind of got up before everybody else, and I sat down and I decided I'm going to play me some Zelda.
Okay. So I feel you. We're same page.
Yeah. I played Zelda for a while.
Yeah.
And then at some point, it was like I felt like I needed to do something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm just
I know exactly what you mean.
In my pajamas in the family room, playing Zelda.
And the thing was, there was no one else in my house that was having the same internal fucking struggle that I was having.
Right.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
This was me.
Yeah.
This was me going, I know the garbage is going to have to get all consolidated and taken down. I know that it's green waste, so I've got to do green waste.
Yeah.
I've got my own craft piles that need to get done. I've got this laser thing that I should put together because I spent money on it. It needs to get used. I can't do that until I put it together. Things need to get yard work. Fuck. And it's already half the day is gone. And I ended up just powering up. I think after like the 5th time of me wandering around aimlessly in a circle in the office, I finally just reached over, picked up the controller, powered off the Xbox, and kind of just went, and then started cleaning shit up. It was like, so the thing that I printed out was adulthood is saying, but after this week, things will slow down a bit over and over until you die.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, how often is that, like, you're, like, talking with Shan or something, you're like, I just need it to slow down for a second. Like, after...
It feels like you have this, like, build up to something, and you feel like after the something, it's going to change.
I'll get a break.
And that never seems...
There's like always...
a constant tide of...
Like a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
I was explaining to Piper... it was maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks back. It was like one of those weeks where it wasn't necessarily a bad week, but like I felt like I was getting nickel and dimed by like a Murphy's Law, like a small portion of Murphy's Law. It's like I'm trying to vacuum the garage, and the power cord manages to get caught on every wheel at every time I move it. Or
that's my life.
I go to put a tool away and I miss the drawer and the tool falls to the floor, so now I've got to reach over, pick the tool.
Take the extra effort.
Yeah, I go to pull the trash can up and the wheel catches and the trash can tips over. It's empty. Trash can's empty.
Right.
But it tips over. So now I've got to, it's like, fucking, I just want to go from A to B without a subcategory 1.
I literally thought I was the only person this shit ever happened to.
And it just like, all those little tiny things.
Yeah, add up.
Like were absolutely fucking triggering me.
You start getting pissed.
Yeah.
Like
why
what is the universe telling me right now?
It's like the light.
Yeah.
We were struggling with the stage light here earlier. It's like 4 batteries have all been in the charger. All I want to do is put the batteries in the light, turn the light on. I get to light 1, works perfectly. Get to light 2, turn on. You were in the same fucking charger as the other 2. The light won't turn on. Yeah. It's a good thing I had spare batteries. But it's like, there's nothing here that should suggest that this should not go the same as A, but yet I get a subcategory. And obviously the light works.
Yeah.
There were spare batteries. But
you had to use the extra
nickel
effort.
and diming of fucking extra cycles that's really inconsequential, like starts to like take a little...
Did we not talk about this already? I have an RC car, and the batteries were all dead. All the batteries that I had, 6-cell NiCad batteries, they were all garbage. They're all super old. So I bought a pack of batteries. So I'm gonna solder my own packs together. I've never done that before. So I do that, and I get my battery charged up, and I get it in the car, and my fucking controller's broken.
Yeah.
It won't steer. And I'm like, I take it apart, and it's completely broke. And I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? It wasn't like that the last time I used it.
When was the last time you used it?
Years ago.
Okay.
But there's been a renewed interest in it because Chandler and his friend JT both bought, like, Access-style trucks, right?
Right. Which are awesome.
Traxxas style
I would
trucks.
love to fuck with those.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm like, I want to get my car running, right? So I buy the batteries, I do that. Well, then the controller's broke. So then I do a deep dive on controllers because my controller's an old school 90s controller that like uses a crystal, right, to get the frequency, and it runs on 24 megahertz. And like to buy one of those to just swap my crystal into and have it work was like $300.
So just a level set. We're not talking about the Toys R Us Kmart $24 RC car.
Right.
You were an enthusiast with a...
I have a team-associated TC3 four-wheel drive sedan car.
So it is hundreds of dollars?
I think they're
maybe
$300, $350,
so
something like that. It's substantial.
A premium RC thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, so I do a deep dive on the controller, and they're fucking expensive, and I'm like, it's not worth it for that. And then I start digging around. Well, if I buy some other newer controller that's like 2.4 gigahertz, it doesn't even use crystal, right?
Right.
But I just have to change the receiver in the car. Hey, cool, that will work.
Right.
So I find one on Amazon, and I order it yesterday, and it comes, and it's here today. And at lunch, I throw that fucker in the car, and like I get it all trimmed out, and without the shell on it, because I couldn't find
any of the pins.
I couldn't find the pins, so I just had the car base, right, with just the battery in it. And man, I ripped that around, and then Chandler came home, and he's like,
let's go,
controller,
bro.
You got a controller? Does it work? I'm like, yeah. And then he wants to so he just grabs my car and throws I had found all the little pins.
Yeah.
So he throws the shell on it and takes it out, runs it for a little bit. And then I come out and run it. And I hit a bump in like a cover, manhole cover.
Okay.
Hit it, and the car kind of hops up over it. And after that, it won't turn one direction. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I go out and grab it. I take it in the garage. I pop the lid off. Nothing mechanically wrong that I could see.
Mm-hmm.
It just won't go one way. And I'm turning. You can see the radio's doing what it should be doing. It just seems like it's not receiving that right-hand turn.
Okay.
And I realized that the antenna, which routes from the receiver through a hole to the bottom of the car and then back up through a hole to where the antenna sits, had gotten caught under, like in a loop under the car. It's actually exposed. And when I hit that bump, that's what the bump hit was, that wire. And it shredded the wire. So I had the controller all of a couple of hours, and now it doesn't turn fucking right. So that's
right.
That's frustrating as shit.
Right. You had fixed the thing.
Yeah.
Put some time and money into a thing. And it was like one step forward. Yeah. 1.5 steps back.
Well, now I don't know what to do. Like, how do I fix it? Like,
especially because you had Smiles, right? You had gotten Smile Equity.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, I'm back in the game. Like, this was a thing. Like, fucking...
This car rips. I'm running it around the out front in the street.
Now you are...
And now I'm dead in the water
back
again.
to where you started.
Yeah, I may as well not have batteries.
Right.
And I may as well not have bought a new controller. I am there again. I mean, that's the shit that just frustrates the crap out of me.
Yeah.
But also the niggly things like you're talking about, like throw something to the trash can and have it hit the trash can, but then fall out of the fucking trash can.
It's so, like on,
Dude.
It seems like some days there are just more ridiculously frequent amounts of those.
Here's the question.
What's going on here?
Here's my question.
Just go my way.
Is it being lazy / flippant in the regard of, just throw this in the can because I know I can make it. But there's, you know what I mean?
Sometimes, sure. But like, for me, of late, it's a lot of like everything seems to be yard work centric.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm taking the blower to the green.
Yeah.
And the extension cord is absolutely positively catching on, even though I'm like coiling it up and I'm letting it go as I work, it catches on something, like even when I'm trying to be like aware of the situation, like it catches. Or I get to where I'm going, I've managed the cord, it didn't kink on anything, and as I start blowing, I uncork it from the fucking blower itself. It's like, oh, come on, I've spent what? Or the hose will catch on every single piece of river rock as I'm moving it around the yard.
The hose, when you have it out and you want to wind it up, the handle, whatever, it doesn't matter what's on the end of the hose. That motherfucker will catch on every single thing. Yeah. It does not matter. Or it could be the cement. It could be a bush. It could be a car tire. It could be anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The pressure lately on some of the hose nozzles will be hosing off the backyard to get things wet and chuck it into the bin, and it lands exactly the way that the Murphy's Law would say that, or the universe would say that there is only one chance in billions of billions that it would land the way that it does, and it does. It lands in the galvanized tub, and it fucking just square nuts me right between the eyes of a cold. It's like, oh, come on. The other day I was washing the car.
At least it's not squirting you in the junk.
I'm there. We're getting there, bitch. I've been self-aware of it because I've told Venus this story a couple times, like getting goosed or hosed when I didn't intend it to. I'm washing the car. I walk the hose down and let the nozzle like touch the floor.
Yeah.
And I start to walk away, but the amount of pressure, like it twists it. And as I walk past the hose, it just straight up cleans out my taint and undercarriage. And so now I've got this sopping wet sack. It's already, and that's the only thing that's wet. So now it's uncomfortable. I'm like fucking so pissed off.
Did you just whiz yourself?
Yeah. It's like, great.
We need to go to the store real fast. Come on.
It's hot enough outside. The latest couple times that it's happened, it's like, you know what? I don't even give a fuck. It's so hot. I'm halfway just like, do it. Do your best, because I'm fucking hot. Like, hit me.
Yeah.
Let's go. Make it a party.
I'm right there with you, man. That stuff adds up to the point of like hardcore frustration.
It's like, there's some self-bias because now it feels like I'm paying attention to it just to make a note that, like, at what point does this really happen every day to me?
I think it sounds like, because it happens to both of us, that it's happening every day to tons of people all over the world.
This is not even a story, or not even fake, right? So, I take Venus out.
Yeah.
Not yesterday. Saturday was Wednesday, so it would have been Monday. I think it was late evening, Monday. I'm like, let's go out, get some physical activity, stretch our legs, take the basketball. Starting July, I'm trying to get back to be more physical because we're going to start running again in the middle of the month. So I'm going to start breaking all these muscle fibers now, so that way when we start running, I'm not in pain and I have an excuse to stop. Anyway, So let's go out. I'll shoot baskets. Come play basketball with me. Well, I don't want to shoot. We'll come out and just fetch the ball when it fucking beans off the rim,
or when I airball one.
Absolutely, because that too. Hey, I had no shame. Fucking it happens. Hey, sometimes.
Unless your name's Tony Overbay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we get out to the park. I'm shooting baskets, and she's kind of lazily getting it back to me, and she tries to like bounce pass with one hand, but she times it wrong. And she kind of like almost catches a finger.
Oh.
And she gets it to me, but she's listened to tunes in her ear. And I say, oh, you got to be careful. You almost fucking totally ate that. And she pauses and she's like, what? And I have the ball. And I said, it looked like you. And so I put some spin on the ball and I go, it almost looked because what you're going to work. And I literally bent the nail in trying to show her how stupid she almost was to herself. I did it unintentionally. Like, what are the odds in me trying to pantomime and fake the situation that I was trying to help you avoid?
Yeah.
I full on fucking just bent the nail back, and it just, and she's like, ooh. And I went, I was trying to help show you
what I thought you
what
were doing.
I wanted you not to hurt yourself doing. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "It's fucking bleeding." I fucked this one. I mean, I'm trying to be nice. Like, what are the odds? Anyway, my basketball skills and spatial awareness is not all there yet. Yeah. So the last couple days, I've been like gimping because I straight up, it wasn't even like me dribbling and I fucked myself. I was trying to show an example of what not to do, and I did it myself.
Well, I had the same thing. I was working under the Cadillac while it was running.
Oh, yeah.
With the transmission, and knowing the exhaust runs right next to the transmission.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, the exhaust is hot as shit. Don't fucking touch that shit. It's hot as shit. Don't fucking touch that shit. It's fucking hot, dude.
I bet
you
it's
can
hot.
Feel the heat from laying down on the ground underneath the car. Don't touch it. It's
You've
hot
got
as
to
shit.
do this carefully, Jim.
God damn, that shit's hot. You can feel it on your face. It's hot.
Hey, Jim, guess what?
And then reach up and go, right there. Right there, dude. So that happened, right? So for a week, I've been nursing this burn on my arm. Saturday rolls around. We got people coming to the house. I got a bunch of cardboard that has to get taken to the recycler. So I throw that shit in the car, drive to the recycler. One of the boxes is pretty good size box. It's one of Chandler had to replace the chin on his car, the carbon fiber
front
chin.
lip?
Yeah, the lip.
Okay.
And it comes in a big box, right? Because it's big.
Right. It's like Saturday night at Timmy's mom's house.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come in the box.
So you go to the recycler, and it's a big, giant metal bin with like holes in the side with like slats.
Right.
And you got to fit through the slat. Well, the boxes got to be broke down. They're all fucking broke down.
Right.
I broke them down.
Right.
So let's put this giant box through this tiny ass slots in the thing. And so I'm struggling to get this box in there, and I'm fucking pushing on it. And I push real fucking hard, and the box decides, oh, it's time to go.
Yeah.
And it goes through the slot.
I'm ready.
So does my hand.
Oh, God.
But then on the little metal slot, runs right over the fucking burn and scrapes the entire burn off.
Oh, boy.
And do you know how loud I yelled? Did you hear it? You may have heard it from the recycler to here, because that is how loud I yelled. It fucking hurts so bad. So now I've got a burn with all of the shit scraped off the top of it.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, talk about dumb shit. And then it was like I still had some shit in the car, and it's starting to bleed. You know what I mean? And I'm like, ah!
Fucking cardboard.
And my goal was to go get more chips at Sportsman's Whorehouse. And I went straight home.
Chips?
Wood chips.
Oh, smoker chips.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And instead, I called Shanna on the way. I said, get all the first aid shit out because I'm bleeding.
I'm like a stuck pig over here, man.
Yeah. So on my way there, I went home first, got it all cleaned up, and then went to, and fuck, it hurts, man. Talk about painful. Don't do that.
Now you're going to have a huge old scar because you're old like me.
Yeah.
And so now,
Look how nasty that. You see that shit? Look at that.
Yeah.
Look how nasty that is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be nice and red for a long time.
Word time.
Okay. Don't do that.
Hey, it's okay to take a day off. Not like me. I'm still working on it. These are mental health things.
Just be more careful about dragging your hose and electrical cables around.
Right. Yeah,
that's it.
The hose, the nozzles.
Be more specific.
Don't show your wife
with the tossing of your tools into the box or the garbage into the can.
Right.
Or dragging the trash can back to the house without tipping it over. Just be conscious of what you're doing. Bro.
Yeah. Take some more time. Which I don't have.
Well, and if you're going to do that, you might as well wash your ass.
There you go. Wear the mask.
And wash your hands.
Return the cart.
Wear the mask. Get the shot.
And
do the kindness.
Do the kindness.
There we go.
We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.